You find out at a funeral, which seems appropriate in a dark sort of way. Death delivering the news of a fortune. Your grandmother's estate lawyer pulls you aside after the service. He says your name carefully, like he's not sure you're who he's looking for. $11 million. She had $11 million and a 3-bedroom house and a car that needed new brake pads, and she never once let on. Your grandmother who clipped grocery coupons. Your grandmother who reused aluminum foil. Your grandmother who told you to turn the lights off when you left a room. The money had been there for decades. Investments made quietly, compounding silently, growing in the background of a completely ordinary life. You realize she knew. She always knew. And she chose to live exactly as she always had anyway. The thought undoes you a little. All those times she worried out loud about the heating bill. Was she acting? Or did the money never feel real to her either? You sit in her empty armchair holding a teacup, and you can't decide if what she did was wise or sad, or both. You don't touch the money for 4 months. It sits in an account you can see but can't quite bring yourself to use. You keep going to work, you keep paying your rent, you keep arguing with your roommate about whose turn it is to buy dish soap. Eventually, you tell your parents. Not the full amount at first. You hint. You say she left you more than you expected. When the full number comes out, something shifts. Imperceptibly at first, then very perceptibly. Your brother starts mentioning his car, repeatedly, in different contexts, with increasing detail about why it's failing. Your best friend of 15 years asks you to invest in a startup. You say you'll think about it. He doesn't speak to you for a month when you say no. You invest anyway. Not because you believe in the startup, because you can't stand the silence. The startup fails in 7 months. Your friend is apologetic for about a week and then moves on. You absorb the loss. It barely dents the account. The money is fine. The friendship is different now, and you both know it. You hire a financial advisor. She's sharp and direct and charges a percentage that sounds obscene until you realize it's actually proportional. She tells you things your grandmother clearly knew. Let it compound. Don't chase. Don't rush. The secret to wealth is patience dressed as discipline. You buy a place of your own. Not extravagant. Comfortable. A 1-bedroom with good light and no roommate, and nobody else's dish soap to worry about. You go to therapy. You've needed to for years. Now you have no excuse not to. The therapist asks what you're afraid of. You say you're afraid of becoming someone your grandmother wouldn't recognize. She writes something down. You don't ask what. You start volunteering at a community center 2 blocks from where your grandmother grew up. You don't tell anyone why. It gives you something work never did. Not a salary, not a title. Just a quiet satisfaction of being useful to something outside yourself. Dating becomes strange. You learn quickly who to tell and who not to tell. The ones who react with excitement first are usually the wrong ones. You meet someone who doesn't ask about money for 4 months. When you finally tell them, they say, "Huh," and change the subject. You almost cry with relief. 6 years after the funeral, you understand something about your grandmother you couldn't have understood before. The money was never the point. She lived the life she wanted on the terms she set. The money was there to protect that life, not to perform it. You are still learning the same lesson. You probably will be for the rest of your life. $11 million. Clipped from coupons and patience and a woman who never needed to be impressive to know her own worth.